is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
Welcome to Sunday Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. We're the Scottsdale Diamondbacks. Today, the Diamondbacks take on the Giants. Go D-Backs!
Today we close out the season's first half in San Francisco. Welcome to All-Star Week here on Fox Sports Arizona. This afternoon it's the D-backs and the Giants live from AT&T Park. D-backs today with a chance to close out the first half with a second straight series win and take 2 of 3 here in San Francisco for the second time this year. It's Arizona Diamondbacks baseball presented by Sanderson Ford. Good afternoon from AT&T Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Luis Gonzalez along the way. This is the series and first half finale. And Gonzo, it's our second look at Fidel Nuno after his outstanding D-backs debut.
Yeah, he really was. He was impressive. Not a lot to expect from him after struggling in New York. So the guys didn't know what they were going to get from Nuno. He did a fantastic job holding the Marlins to 7 innings, no earned runs, 3 hits and 7 strikeouts.
He looked terrific. He's got Tuffy Gozawish behind the plate again today. Those two worked very well together in Nuno's debut Tuesday at Chase Field. He's up against the left-hander Madison Bumgarner, so the lefties Peralta, Parra, Montero, Gregorius all sit out today.
Well, it's going to be a tough game for the Diamondbacks. Bumgarner has been outstanding against the Diamondbacks his last 4 starts you see there. But we're going to have a great game from Nuno to keep up with this guy.
Nuno up against one of the Giants all-stars, Madison Bumgarner, on the mound in the series and first half finale against Kirk Gibson's D-backs. It has been a defensive gem so far through the first 2 games. What might we see in Game 3? Find out next. First pitch coming up right here on Fox Sports Arizona.
And it's not easy, you know. That's the
minute ago, Brandon Belt has been scratched from today's ball game with back stiffness. So ARI Adrianza will play second base, and Joaquin Arias, who was going to start at second, has moved over to first base. So some late news for the Giants, and nothing seems to be going their way as of late. They have won just 5 of their last 21 home games here at AT&T Park, but they have their all-star Madison Bumgarner on the mound, the 24-year-old left-hander. An all-star for the second straight season, his 20th start this year, looking before his 10th win. Bruce Bochy looking to get something going for his ball club here today.
The mood, tempo, spirit of the club's been good through these tough times, and it's not easy. You know, that's the time when guys get a little cranky, maybe do some finger pointing, but they hunkered down together, and they've been playing through it, but they know we have to pick it up and play better ball.
So Madison Bumgarner not too long ago was 8-3 on the season, but he's won just once in his last 6 starts and pitched to an ERA close to 5 over that span. The one win against the D-backs June 22nd at Chase Field when he was outstanding. Ender Inciarte leads it off, and he knocks it through the hole into left for a base hit. 1 pitch, 1 hit for the D-backs, and a good start for Arizona here. This is the lineup for the Diamondbacks, and against the lefty Bumgarner, all the key lefties, most of them anyway, Gonzo, sitting out tonight for Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, it really is. You got Inciarte up top, Prado, Goldie in the middle, Trumbo, Hill, Ross, Tuffy Gosewicz getting a start tonight, and Nick Ahmed at shortstop, and Vidal Nuno on the mound for his second start.
So no Parra, no Peralta, no Montero, no Gregorius today. Martin Prado batting second at .269 and 4 home runs.
Just an odd day for the D-backs today. Instead of taking an early batting practice, there was a lot of guys out there taking ground balls, just trying to get some infield work.
And the starting infield today of Prado at third, Nick Ahmed at short, and Gregorius was playing at second base today, but Aaron Hill is getting the start out there. A lot of early infield for the Diamondbacks as they cruise into the All-Star break. Paul Goldschmidt, Miguel Montero will go from here to Target Field in Minneapolis. The game is Tuesday on Fox. The rest of the ball club has a few days off. They have a workout scheduled for Thursday at Chase Field and open up a 6-game homestand on Friday. 3 against the Cubs and 3 against the Tigers. 2-0 to Prado. A frustrating day yesterday for Martin. 0 for 4 with a strikeout that ended a season-high 10-game hit streak. But he had 2 base hits at least taken away by Giants defenders in yesterday's ball game. A nice catch in right by Hunter Pence, and he was robbed of a base hit up the middle by Joaquin Arias, who was playing shortstop yesterday but is over there at first base today.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He did have a frustrating day. He threw his hands up at one point running down the line before he even crossed the bag.
So hopefully the 10-game hit streak that ended yesterday will get Martin back on track. Bumgarner, a long look over at first and a check on Inciarte, who's back safely, says Dale Scott, the crew chief over there. So Ender has his second hit in the series. And Prado's ahead with a 2-1 count. Inciarte holds. Bumgarner misses away, and it's 3-1.
Bumgarner struggled a little bit in his last start. He tried to throw a lot more breaking balls against the Oakland A's his last start.
He has really sputtered into this All-Star break. Prado slaps it into right. Pence juggles the ball. Inciarte heads for third, and he is out of there. A very good throw by Hunter Pence as Inciarte can't advance the extra 90 feet. He saw an opening, tried it, but he's thrown out by the Giants All-Star right fielder.
Oh, nice job by Prado, just going with the pitch, hitting it the other way, and that bobble right there by Pence. Ciarte thought he got a shot at him to try to get there.
Good job by Sandoval to get back there and block the bag. Ciarte had nowhere to go but right into the glove.
Well, a tough break for the Diamondbacks. Instead of having either first or second or first and third, now you're sitting with one out, man on first.
And you've got Goldie, Trumbo, and Aaron Hill coming up. First pitch is fouled well into the seats. 0-1 to Paul Goldschmidt, the National League All-Star starter at first base. 6th in the National League in hitting at .312. He's 2nd in the league in RBIs and walks, 3rd in on-base percentage, slugging, and OPS. Not a bad resume to take into the All-Star game. Tuesday on Fox, Target Field in Minneapolis. He'll go there with Miguel Montero. He's down quickly here, though, 0-2.
And it just seems like Goldie, the more notoriety and the more people are starting to realize how good a player he is, the better he's getting as the season goes on.
And when you look at the numbers, it just gets silly how good he is. And that's where some people don't watch the Diamondbacks as closely as they watch other teams. When they do check in on those numbers, they're amazed. Wow. Coming inside here. Down at the back foot, but he misses. 1-2.
Well, I think the All-Star game coming up this week for Goldie is going to be a great opportunity for him to showcase his abilities out there. Going in as a starter, now people realize how good a player he is, and we're very excited for him to be going.
And it's great for the organization as well. Chases one in the dirt, and there's the strikeout first for Bumgarner. So a very good start for the Diamondbacks. Suddenly 2 quick outs. Let's take a look at the Giants behind their left-hander. It's our Mid-First Bank starting defense. You've got Morse, Blanco, and Pence. Very late change announced just before first pitch. A-Ray Adrianza plays second base, and Joaquin Arias moves over to first, replacing Brandon Belt, who is out with a stiff back. And Gregor Blanco getting the start in center field against the left-hander, Vidal Nuno. Mark Trumbo swinging a miss, 0-1.
It seems like most of our guys are being very aggressive with Bumgarner early in the count. It's three out of the 4 hitters are throwing at the first pitch, trying to get him early.
Trumbo in the cleanup spot today. Struck out against Sergio Romo in a 9th inning pinch hit appearance yesterday. He's down 0-2. Mark 1 for 4 with a single in Friday's series opener. That was his return from the stress fracture in his foot that kept him out for 71 games. Gets away from Posey, and Prado advances to second. A wild pitch charged to Bumgarner.
Boy, nice read right there to see that ball in the dirt. Trumbo holds up. Posey trying to keep it in front.
He throws a lot of sliders, Madison Bumgarner, more than almost any other pitcher in baseball, and he spiked that one. To give Prado an extra 90 feet, here's the 1-2. On a play right to Glenn Sherlock at third. How much, Gonzo, do you think it's advantage for Mark to have played in this series before the break instead of starting up after the All-Star break?
Well, I think it's good. He's getting a couple reps out here now and seeing some big league pitching. Yesterday he had a couple half swings. Looked like he wasn't really seeing the ball that well. Today his first couple swings looked like they were half swings, but you got to get your feet wet again, and hopefully coming out of the gates, you got games against the Cubs and then the Tigers. You want them at full strength.
Bumgarner elevates, Trumbo chases, and they strand Prado at second, just underway at AT&T Park. The Giants, and today have a chance to win their second series this season here at AT&T Park after taking 2 of 3 from the Giants here in April. And on the mound today, left-hander Vidal Nuno moved up to take today's start to close out the first half. He is working on his usual rest after he was outstanding in beating the Marlins Tuesday in his D-backs debut. His pitching coach is Mike Harkey. Hunter Pence. Pence headed to his 3rd All-Star game next week, tied for 2nd in the National League in hits. And the D-backs have done a good job with Pence in this series. He has reached base only once, 1 for 9 with a run scored so far. Vidal Nuno looked terrific in his D-backs debut last week at Chase Field. Hard to third, backhanded by Prado, long throw, 1 away. Here is Mike Harkey now on today's starter, Vidal Nuno.
I don't really know that he has the best pitch. He's just got 4. He's got 4 average ones. So when he puts them all together, hopefully it turns into an above-average outing. The biggest thing he does is get ahead of the count. I mean, that's number 1 for all young pitchers, and that's to be able to control the counts. I mean, the hardest thing that makes, or something that makes it the hardest on them is pitching 1-0, 2-1, 2-0, 3-0. That's the hardest thing for any young pitcher.
Gregor Blanco, the center fielder, now batting 2nd in this adjusted lineup. Mike Harkey's right to Gonzo. Vidal Nuno, a walk, 7 strikeouts in his first start for the D-backs. He retired 17 of the last 19 he faced and did not allow a runner past second base.
Yeah, and I think he made a great point, especially for young kids. Here we see Nuno falling behind 2-0. It makes the hitters that much better when they're at the plate, because now they're sitting on 1 pitch, 2-0, 3-1 counts. Now they're just looking fastballs.
Blanco pops it up, very short right field. Aaron Hill has a beat on it. Another bright sunny day here in San Francisco with those swirling winds, so keep an eye on that as we proceed here. This is the updated Giants lineup for Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, a lot of change in there. Blanco leading off, Sandoval hitting 2nd. The middle of the order the same, Buster Posey, Morse. Of course, Joaquin Arias getting the start today at first base. Adrian's a late add here at 2nd. Brandon Crawford at shortstop. And on the mound, the all-star Madison Bumgarner.
And here is the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. There's a strike, 0-1. Sandoval 267, 11 home runs. He homered Friday night here. 0 for 4 yesterday, but Friday 3 hits and 3 RBIs.
This is a change for a team like the Giants. They're probably scrambling around the last couple days trying to get video on Nuno to see what kind of pitches he's got and how he's going to come at these guys.
Still an unknown quantity in the National League West, certainly, after pitching for the Yankees the last couple of years. How big a deal is that?
Well, it's huge, especially this late into the season. Usually you see some other guys, how they're going to pitch you in tendencies and things like that. Of course, playing in the American League is totally different than being in the National League.
What are the biggest differences?
Well, for him, he pitched at Yankee Stadium, so I'm sure he pitches guys a lot different there, especially with the short porch. Coming to this ballpark, the roomiest part of this field is the middle. So he's got to pitch more towards the middle of the field like he did right there.
Right back up the box. Sandoval has a 2-out single. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively behind Vidal Nuno. It's our Mid-First Bank starting defense.
Well, up the middle today, we got Nick Ahmed and Aaron Hill. Aaron Hill, the usual guy there. Paul Goldschmidt at first. Martin Prado at third, running it out from left to right. Trumbo and Ciarte getting the starting center, and Cody Ross in right. And today behind the plate, the usual for Nuno, Tuffy Goldschmidt.
That's worked out to a nice situation, certainly. And you got Mark Trumbo back out there running around on that newly healed foot in left. Buster Posey looks at ball 1. Posey 276, 9 home runs. 0 for 4 with a strikeout yesterday. He had Friday night off. Rifles it to left. Trumbo Mark Trumbo tracks it down and makes a nice running catch to strand the 2-out single. No score here in San Francisco. Ball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next, and by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink. Lombard Street here in San Francisco, one of the must-see avenues in this great city by the bay, and there's always a lot of people, usually tourists, standing at the top of that street and taking pictures of people just trying to drive by and get to where they need to go.
I'm not going to lie to you. I walked that street the other day.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's a lot better in a car, I'll tell you that much.
A lot of these streets are. Aaron Hill leads off the second against Madison Bumgarner.
A straight lather going by the time I got to the top of that hill.
Yeah, you catch yourself needing to go either right or left in the wrong direction, and it's a hike.
Yeah. But it was a family thing, you know.
Well, you're a family man. You got everybody here this weekend.
Yeah, they're all heading back now. But yeah, I was kind of wishing they weren't there when we started doing that hike up the hill.
1-1. And we picked a beautiful weekend to be here in San Francisco. Another glorious day at AT&T Park. Aaron Hill, 241 now, 7 homers. 2 hits yesterday, the double and the home run. His first homer since June 11th in Houston, just over a month ago. And hopefully that'll get him going.
Yeah, we need him desperately, especially in the middle of the lineup. Provide a little protection, drive in some runs.
Aaron has hit safely in 3 of his last 4 games, so hopefully due for a big second half. Two balls and 2 strikes. This was Aaron Hill yesterday. The big hit with a 1 out in the 4th against Ryan Vogelsong.
Boy, and that's when he's going good. He pulls those balls down the left field line, left center field. And that had to feel real good for Aaron Hill yesterday.
Yeah, the double in the 7th that he pulled down the left field line. Came in and scored a run. Strikes out here. 3 straight strikeouts for Bumgarner. He can ring up some big strikeout totals when he's on.
Fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 p.m. the following day at participating locations.
Cody Ross, the former Giant. Bumgarner, 6th in the National League in strikeouts right now, right behind Greinke and Kershaw. Really? Just stuck the glove out there and took away a base hit.
got a pitch over the outer half. Bumgarner fielding his position.
Have a look what I found deal there. 2 outs. Here's Tuffy. Bumgarner going to work down and away. Gets the call and strike from Gabe Morales, the plate umpire. 0-1 to Gozowich. 250 and a homer. Tuffy's 14th start behind the plate this year. Already 3 more that he made all of last season. Tuffy over his last 13 games, 11 of those starts. Hitting .310 with 5 RBI, so he's been an effective bat when he's been in there.
Yeah, he really has, and more importantly, he's been a stable behind the plate. He's done a fantastic job calling pitches.
Especially in developing a relationship with Vidal Nuno. Bumgarner rings him up to win the second. He's got 4 strikeouts. No score at AT&T Park. Back in right field at AT&T Park. Earlier we asked Cody, what's it like to play the outfield in this ballpark?
You know, I think this one plays a little tougher just for the simple fact that, you know, you got the elements of the wind that are constantly swirling. You don't know which way it's going. And, you know, that fog and the mist sometimes will mess you up a little bit. But and then all the angles, like you said, you know, you have to worry about, you know, the caroms off the walls and stuff.
Michael Morse might hit this one over the wall. Ender and Ciarte right in front. Morse jumped on the first pitch from Nuno and gave it a ride. That time the win was no help.
Yeah, no help for him. It helped us out a little bit of keeping it from getting out of here. Boy, he looked like he got a good swing on that one.
Ender and Ciarte tracks it down just shy of that 399 mark in dead center. There's a shot of the flags. That is a swirling wind again today. So keep that in mind on any fly ball, especially the ones that out to center and right center. There's Cody out there.
Yeah, what Cody's talking about, the angles right there at that State Farm in right center field. That's a tough angle for those outfielders when they're running back on a line drive. That ball can hit any part there and jet either way, left or right.
Such a funny park too, because it's 421 there in Triples Alley and then 365 right there in the gap. Broken bat. Aaron Hill throws out Arias 2 down.
Yeah, and you would think with left-handers you'd see a lot more balls being hit into the to McCovey Cove out there, but really pitchers are really smart when they get balls out there. They try to throw the left-handers, you know, over the outer half of the plate to get them to hit it to the deepest part, which is center and right center field. There you see Willie McCovey.
Pretty good when you've got a cove named after you.
Absolutely. A big old statue out there in right field.
That's just across the water from the ballpark here. It provides a terrific view of AT&T Park if you walk over there. And today's a good day to do that. 521 homers. ARI Adrianza, a late addition to the lineup. Rifles that over the glove of Prado and down the left field line. Adrianza heads for second. ARI Adrianza, his 5th double, and the Giants have a 2-out base runner. If you're just joining us, Brandon Belt, a very late scratch with back stiffness, so Adrianza, a late addition, and so far, so good.
Well, you got to give him credit. The guy's probably sitting in the clubhouse thinking he's got an off day again, not starting in the game. All of a sudden, 10 minutes before the ball game, they're telling you you're playing, and he steps up to the plate, hits a double down the left field line.
He's there with 2 outs, and Brandon Crawford steps in. Crawford swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. 0-1. He was off yesterday. 241 on the year, 7 homers. On base twice in Friday's series opener. Had a walk and an RBI single. Crawford got something of a mandate from the Giants this spring that he had to start doing better against left-hand pitching, or he was going to sit against most lefties. He hit under 200 against left-handers last year. This year he's done a whole lot better. And he's in there today against Vidal Nuño. Crawford this year about .330 versus left-hand pitchers, including 3 home runs. And he's barely 200 against right-handers, so that's backwards.
He worked a little harder on one thing and forgot about the other.
A little too hard, maybe. 2-1.
Well, you know, I love Tuffy back there because Nuño's just checking the signs, getting it, and he's trusting his catcher what he's putting down there. New to the National League now. Says, you got it, big guy. You put him down and I'll throw him.
They have worked very well together so far. 3-2. Nuño, when he arrived in Arizona and reported to the D-backs the day before the start against the Marlins, spent most of that game talking with Tuffy on the bench about how they would work together the following night, and it proved to really work out well.
This is a big pitch here, 3-2. You got the pitcher on deck. You don't want to give him anything too good to hit with a runner at second base.
Nuño said that Tuffy learned how he likes to pitch, and Vidal afterwards said he loved how Tuffy called the game. In fact, he didn't shake him off even one time against the Marlins, which for a guy who throws as much junk up there as Nuño does, a guy with a lot of pitches and a specific idea of what he wants to do out there, that is really saying something.
It really is. And you got to give Tuffy credit too for learning him as quick as he has.
Trying to come up with the right pitch right here with Adrianza at second. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Miss there, and it's ball 4. So the Giants will at least clear the pitcher spot here. Bumgarner comes up with 2 on and 2 out.
Well, to me, that's not a bad pitch because the simple fact that the pitcher's coming up here and you had an open base in first base. You don't want to take the chance of throwing him anything too good to hit for him to get a base hit and score that run from second. You'll take your chances against Bumgarner here at the plate.
He can hit a little bit, the All-Star, 9 for 37 on the year. There's a strike, 0-1. Nuño said the key for him against Miami was mixing up his pitches and commanding every zone as much as possible. He needs to work in all 4 quadrants of that strike zone. with as many different looks and velocities as he can to maximize that effectiveness. And he's ahead on Bumgarner, 1-2.
Well, he's not going to overpower you up there at the plate. What he does have to do is hit his spots, like you said, and pitch with some command. He's got to go wherever tough he's at in the plate and try not to miss his spots. Tops out at 87, 88 miles an hour.
Bounce to third. It backs up Prado. They go the short way for the force on Crawford, and that's the inning. So Nuno wiggles off the hook and keeps it scoreless through 2.
Giants and Diamondbacks, Vidal Nuno, second start for Arizona. And guys, just to follow up on what the two of you were talking about Tuffy, Gozwich, and Vidal Nuno getting on the same page, having an extra day to kind of just sit and talk. And I talked to Tuffy earlier today. He said, I really just tried to learn his strengths, what he's going to be most comfortable with, especially in crucial situations against certain pitchers. And one other interesting thing he mentioned was that he feels that his curveball looks a lot like his fastball coming out of his hand. That's something that can be an advantage for Nuno.
Thank you, Jody. Nick Ahmed leads off the third for the D-backs with strike 1 from Madison Bumgarner, who's retired the last 5 he's faced, 4 by strikeout. Yes, he went, says crew chief Dale Scott down at first, so Ahmed down 0-2.
He's got a battle here. Doesn't get a lot of at-bats as of late, so take advantage of getting in these situations. Not where you want to be, 0-2 against Bumgarner.
See that 1 RBI, got his first career RBI in the win over the Marlins on Wednesday last week. He has a hit in each of his last 2 starts. Nick Ahmed, 4 for 22 so far.
And don't let those numbers fool you. He's a great player, but he's a kid that's been used to playing every single day. Now he's thrust into a different situation with the overabundance of middle infielders that we have.
And Chris Owings due off the DL soon, under the glove of Arias and down the right field line. Nick Ahmed's aboard with a leadoff single.
And that's a good start for him today. Very nice job. He got a fastball up and away. He just took it right down that first base line. It's good placement right there.
And Arias just moved over to first base from second right before the opening pitch when Brandon Belt was scratched with back trouble. And now a chance for Nuno, who dropped down 2 gorgeous bunts in his Diamondback debut to move the runner along here. Out in front of the plate, Buster Posey spins and throws. A nice bunt there by Vidal Nuno, and Ahmed is at second with 1 out.
He really has put on a bunting clinic for the veteran guys that have been around on this team for a while.
It doesn't always look good, but it sure has been effective.
Well, I think what threw him off too is Bumgarner kind of went a little sidearm on him. Did get the job done.
It can't be any fun for a left-hander to try and bunt against Madison Bumgarner with that delivery. Ender Inciarte singled his first time up. Saw the first pitch he saw. Ahmed is just back in time at second.
That was closer than what we'd like it to be.
Fortunately, Nick has got that big frame down there. Lanky guy at 6'3", 205, got a hand in.
Got those long arms. Got him out there. Used every inch of them.
Inciarte led off the ball game with a single and was thrown out trying to go first to third on a Prado base hit. Hunter Pence threw him out from right field. So Ender has 2 hits and 7 at bats against the series in the series against the Giants. And we continue to watch him progress at the big league level here in the first half. In the air the other way, short left field, Michael Morse. And that's the second out. Fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every D-backs win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Just enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com. Here is Prado, who singled his first time up. So he had his season high 10-game hit streak snapped yesterday, but he's right back at it today, 1 for 1. Two down, Ahmed at second.
Here's another guy in Prado's going to take advantage of these couple days off here coming up, try to regroup, come out strong for the second half of the season. There's quite a few guys on this Diamondback club that can use the break.
Absolutely.
More mentally than physically.
Gerardo Parra talked about that. He's not in the lineup against the left-hander today. Parra looking forward to a mental vacation from grinding away every day.
And a lot of these guys will tell you they don't even watch the All-Star game or the Home Run Derby. They just turn the TV off and just get away from it. A lot of staycations.
Two and 0. Gerardo Parra did admit that he's overthinking when he's up there. Thinking about wanting the hits, thinking about wanting to help the D-backs win. Just got too many things on his mind right now, so he will spend the All-Star break basically chilling, just hanging out by the pool. 3-1. A little decompression is always a good thing midway through.
Yes, it is.
Not exactly halfway. This is game 96 of 162 today. Three balls and a strike. It sounded like it hit the pad.
Yeah, loud popping sound, and
I think he broke at the pad. In fact, the strap you can see is loose there. Yeah, knocked the strap right off.
Good thing he had that pad on. most times the count's now 3-2. He'll come right back. The pitcher usually tries to come right back in that same spot.
And Buster Posey will go out to the mound for a chat to give Prado a moment or two to walk it off. Base hit, it's into left. They will wave Ahmed, and he will score. It's 1-0 D-backs. Martin Prado, RBI 36. A big 2-out hit right there.
Nice piece of hitting by Martin there to pick up that RBI. More importantly, he gets the Diamondbacks on top early in the ball game. Got a fastball up in the zone, just out of the reach of Crawford.
No hesitation from Glenn Sherlock. He was waving Ahmed in all the way. A big 2-out single by Martin Prado, who's 2 for 2. 1-0 D-backs, and 0-1 to Goldie, who struck out his first time up. Paul Goldschmidt, an 11-game hitting streak. He's hit in every game this month. A .436 average in July, and some guys just kind of strain together hit streaks, and they don't mean a whole lot. But Goldie, during this 11-game streak in July, 8 walks, 8 RBIs, and 10 extra base hits.
You're right. That's a productive hitting streak there. Usually you see guys scattering out a single here, a 1-for-4 day quite a bit, a couple times, but he's been able to produce, get some big RBIs for the team. A couple game winners in there.
I mean, look at Michael Morse for the Giants. He's got a 9-game hitting streak, but he's had 1 hit in 8 of those 9 games and hasn't produced it anywhere near the level during his streak that Goldie has during his. Bounce to third, the Panda. They get the force on Prado, but the Diamondbacks get the game's first run. Martin Prado, his 36th RBI. He limps off the field after this 2-out single. It's 1-0 Diamondbacks. Prado, he seems to be moving around okay after fouling a pitch off that shin guard right before he delivered a 2-out RBI single for the game's first run. 1-0 D-backs. Hunter Pence, the leadoff man, leads off the third against Vidal Nuno. Pence grounded out his first time up 0 for 1. So he is 1 for 10 in the series. High in the air, right field. Cody Ross trying to find it up there. You can see the effect, Gonzo, that the wind seems to have as that ball is kind of shifting and swirling on Cody up there.
Yeah, it really was. He's got glasses on out there in right field. Try to protect it with a high sun.
The glasses are on the cap. I'm glad Bob Brenly's not here to see that.
Yeah.
That wind is really gusting out to right center. Gregor Blanco.
And that sun usually tails around. It starts out in left field and then starts working his way to center and right later on in the ball game.
Blanco popped out his first time 0 for 1.
Brenly's not a big fan of the hat, the sunglasses on top of the hat. If you're going to take them out there, you might as well wear them.
Base hit. Blanco, who has been scuffling as of late. Now 3 hits and 6 at bats in this series. He was really slumping coming into the weekend. Brings up the Panda. Sandoval singled his first time. Giants have been jumping on early offerings from Vidal Nuno. The fly ball out by Pence. The 5th out recorded by Nuno on 3 or fewer pitches. So the Giants are making it easy on him. So far, a walk, 2 singles, and a double. There's another strike one, 0-1.
Good off-speed pitch there to start off Sandoval.
Top of the Giants order yesterday against Wade Miley and company. That would be Pence, Scudero, Sandoval, and Posey. A combined 0 for 15. But so far, Blanco has a hit in the 2 spot. Sandoval's 1 for 1. Wade Miley outstanding yesterday. Brad Ziegler, Addison Reed shut the door. A 2-0 D-backs win. Kind of like he broke his bat. Popped up. Ahmed is out there. And that's the 2nd out. Brings up Buster Posey. This is another guy that's scuffling. He flied out his first time up today. So now 5 for his last 35, Buster Posey. 0 for 4 with a strikeout yesterday.
And this will be the first time he's going to be taking an all-star break instead of going to the game.
Very unusual for him. He hasn't homered in a month. June 14th, his last home run. There's a strike, 0-1. Yeah, Posey last 13 games has hit 170. And he says when things get out of whack for him, he likes to start with his head, keep things simple. And he says sometimes when you're going bad, you don't even realize your head is moving around a lot, and that's causing you to swing at some pitches you wouldn't or shouldn't, or not pick up the ball as much as you normally do. What do you think about that?
Well, it's exactly right. It's like 2 cars coming together at each other. You're going out there to get it, and the other car's coming at you, so it's a higher impact. If you stay back, they got to come to you, and as a hitter, you want to try to keep your balance as long as you can and see the ball for as long as you can. And that's what he's been working on, trying to get better at it. And you know, he's exactly right. When you're going well, you don't think about anything at the plate. When you're struggling, you have so many thoughts in your mind. Where your hands, your feet, your stance. Next thing you know, the ball's on top of you.
2 balls and a strike. Keep an eye on Blanco over there. Posey had an enormous month of June, tremendously productive at the plate, but as we showed you a moment ago, July has been a different story. Two and 2 gets the strike call from Gabe Morales behind the plate.
Trumbo playing him really deep out in left field.
Kind of a 1-man, no doubles defense out there. On the ground is second. Aaron Hill has it. And Nuno strands the one-out single by Blanco. Through 3, D-backs lead it 1-0. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Trumbo, Hill, and Ross in the 4th. Giants 1-0 as we start the 4th inning. Fans, don't forget it's that time again. Tweet us your fan photo on the Twitter with a hashtag and the whole thing. Hashtag AZFanPhoto for your chance to have your fan photo shown in today's game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T, and the Brenly Committee has been adjourned, so Gonzo and I are on fan photo duty.
See if we can get some good ones today.
Mark Trumbo leads off the 4th. Big announcement here between innings at AT&T Park. Got a big round of applause from Giants fans. Madison Bumgarner, of course, is an all-star for the Giants. But he's pitching today. That means there's no way he can pitch Tuesday. So Tim Hudson has been named to take his place on the National League All-Star team. Bumgarner can still go. He just won't be on the active roster. This one is rolled slowly to second. Adrianza throws him out, 1 away.
And that's a great story with Tim Hudson. I mean, he suffered that horrific injury and then has come back from it, pitched well.
Sure has. He has been a tremendous acquisition for the Giants. But Bumgarner, it's funny, if you look at parts of his season, there's no question he should be an all-star. The numbers on Hudson this year, now an all-star. 7 wins at 2.87 ERA as Aaron Hill steps in and looks at strike 1. But Bumgarner has not been really an all-star form. From the beginning of May through the first week of June, Bumgarner was unbeaten in 7 straight starts. He was 6-0 over that span with a 1.91 ERA. He was really pitching well. But then suddenly, just for no reason at all, it seemed, became much more hittable.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times just what the hitters go through, the pitchers go through that also, sort of a little mini slump.
Yeah,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But the only problem is with the pitcher, he's got his 1 start every 5 days. When he's in a slump, it's more out in the open.
You got a lot more time to think about
Absolutely.
it. The hitter gets 4 at bats the next day, right?
Throw him right back out there.
The pitcher gets 4 off days.
And he's got to hear about his last start for those 4 days.
Yeah, you saw 0-3 over the last 3 starts. In fact, you can go back 1-4 over his last 6 starts. And as Gonzo mentioned, he was hit hard his last time out. That was Tuesday in Oakland. While Vidal Nuno was blanking the Marlins, the A's were getting after Bumgarner, who gave up 10 hits in 7 innings for his 3rd straight loss. So he has not been on top form coming into today, and he trails at 1-0. He held up, says Dale Scott at first.
When facing that A's team is like facing a buzzsaw out there. Those guys pretty good team they put together over there, one of the best in baseball.
And they are all in. Yeah, the Oakland A's are rolling, best record in baseball. And of course, they add Samardzija, they add Hamill, so they've got some pitching now. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Aaron Hill.
There's another guy taking one off the shin or the foot there.
10th inning coming right up after the ball game here on Fox Sports Arizona. With Bumgarner now at 50 pitches. An encore presentation of the 10th inning follows our ball game today. Slow roller in the hole. Sandoval. I said it the other day, Gonzo. More often than not, he'll make the play, and it's not just those hit right at him. He moves pretty well down there for a big guy.
Yeah, he really does. He's a sleeper over there. You think that you can get balls by him, and he doesn't make these plays, but he's pretty aggressive. When he sees that ball, he thinks he's got a shot at it. He's going to go get it.
Cut in front of Crawford to take that one, and he got Aaron Hill by a step. So 2 down for Cody Ross. He jumped on the first pitch he saw in his first at bat. Hit it right back up the box. Bumgarner snared it in his glove for an excuse me out. There's a strike, 0-1. Cody had a pinch hit single in Friday's series opener. And the hits have been coming last 26 games for Cody. 10 starts. He's hitting about .350. That's what you want to see from Cody Ross, much like Aaron Hill. And they are pulling those balls hard down the left field line. That's when things are really clicking. And Cody, of course, a huge part of that 2010 World Series championship team here. The NLCS MVP that year against the Phillies. He went 7 for 20. 3 doubles, 3 homers in 6 games. And because of that, he still gets a round of applause every time he walks in this ballpark. As well he should.
Yeah, the fans don't forget anybody who helps bring a championship to him.
He homered in the World Series against the Texas Rangers. Came back the next year, hit .240 in 120 games for the Giants, and then moved on to the Red Sox. This is well hit to left field, but right at Michael Morse, and that's the inning. Bottom 4 all the way. D-backs lead it 1-0.
I actually feel a little faster than I did going into it. The plantar fascia thing in spring slowed me down big time. That was rough. Not dealing with that anymore either. So, I'm all much better for it.
Was that in the left foot as well?
Yeah, everything was in the left foot. They mentioned the broken bone a lot, but the plantar was probably the more painful of the issues I was dealing with.
Geico quoted the game coming from Mark Trumbo, and in fact, the stress fracture Trumbo believes developed because of the plantar fasciitis, that he was overcompensating on that foot. So, you know, the stress fracture, guys, is kind of what got the headlines. It allowed him to rest that foot, clean up the plantar fasciitis. He says he does feel faster, as he mentioned, and so that helps in the outfield and on the base paths.
Yeah, most people had no idea Gonzo he was dealing with all that in the foot. We thought it was just the stress fracture for the most part in that left foot, but boy, that plantar fasciitis deal, that's supposed to be extremely painful.
It'll knock you out for a while. Your first step of the day, you don't know what's going to happen.
Kept him out for 71 games. Michael Morse, sky high pop up right back here, and it's 1-1. Morse, Arias, Adrianza, 5, 6, and 7 in the Giant fourth against Vidal Nuno, who so far has given up 3 hits and leads it 1-0. Michael Morse, a pair of hits in the series. He's got a 9-game hitting streak, but has exactly 1 hit in 8 of those 9 games. So he hasn't been tremendously productive. In fact, the power has not been there consistently from Michael Morse this year in the way the Giants would have liked. That's been one of several reasons their offense has sputtered so badly over the last month or so. Morse has 1 homer in his last 32 games, only 5 RBIs over that span. And he got off to a great start here in San Francisco, signed that 1-year deal, homered 6 times in April. But since May 1st has leveled off. He had 20 RBIs in April. That's about half his total for the year so far. So
he's taking a page out of Hunter Pence's book there with his pants.
He's catching on.
He's got him up over the knees.
Take those socks over the knees, yeah. He did not go, says Dale Scott. So it's even 2-2.
And Morse is one of those guys. He's a streaky home run hitter. He can hit him a mile when he gets a hold of him.
He's a big dude, 6'5", 245. He's been a 30 homer, 90 RBI guy before. Mostly with the Washington Nationals, right by Tim Flannery at third, and a nice job down there. Old dude just went 5-hole.
Yeah, this one was 5-hole. The play before, he couldn't bend the knees to get the glove down. So
2-2.
Left field ball guy today is a retired elementary school principal.
You'd be hearing it out on the playground right now. Nuno strikes him out. First strikeout today for Vidal Nuno. Got it on the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Fans be at Chase Field next weekend, Cubs and D-backs, and we want to say thank you to the fans. Done a tremendous job making Goldie the starting first baseman in the All-Star game. So to celebrate, first 20,000 fans at the game Saturday, July 19th. Get the Goldie t-shirt. That's courtesy of Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. But that's only the first 20,000 fans, so this really is an exclusive item. Get your tickets and get to the game early. Call 602-514-8400 or visit dbacks.com/tickets, and we'll see you there on Saturday. The Goldie t-shirt day. 3 against the Cubs and 3 against the Detroit Tigers when we get back.
It's going to be an exciting week for the D-backs.
Arias fans at that one. 2 strikeouts in the inning now for Vidal Nuno, his first 2 of the ball game.
You see that breaking ball down and away. Starts over the outer half and just keeps diving down and in.
Brings up ARI Adrianza. His first appearance in this series. He just returned last week after missing 17 games with a hamstring. ARI Adrianza doubled his first time up, 1 for 1. far, so good once again for Vidal Nuno.
Yeah.
His second start as a D-back. Right back to the mound. And Nuno works a 1-2-3-4 through 4. He leads it 1-0. Del Nuno, who leads the Giants 1-0 as we start the 5th. D-backs shut out San Francisco here yesterday. And that was the 5th time in their last 13 games the Giants have been shut out. And so far they have not been able to get a run across for Madison Bumgarner. And now we start the 5th with Tuffy Gozuish, who struck out his first time. D-backs have out hit the Giants 4-3. They lead it 1-0. Tuffy jumps on the first one, but hits it on one hop to Adrianza, who throws him out. One away in the 5th. 5 in a row now retired by Bumgarner.
Well, and I'm sure if you ask anybody in that Diamondbacks dugout, they're more concerned with Tuffy working with the pitcher. Not too worried about his offense. You got a guy throwing the way he's throwing today in Nuno. Just continue to work hard with him.
He has been very effective and efficient. So far, he's given up only 3 hits. He has walked 1 and struck out 2. Nick Ahmed singled and scored back in the 3rd. Came in on Martin Prato's 2-out RBI single. And that's the only run of the ball game so far. So Nick has now hit safely in each of his last 3 starts, including today.
And that was a great at-bat by Nick his first time up. He had 2 strikes. Shot the ball the other way, had a fastball up and away, hit it down the right field line.
What do you make of his adjusted batting stance? His hands were much higher when we saw him in spring training in the fall league last year, but now they're down by his hip. Sandoval throws him out, 2 down.
Yeah, it's kind of an unorthodox stance when you look at it. You're exactly right. They start way down by his belt, and he brings them up a little bit as the pitch is coming.
Well, Nick played in the fall league after last season. Didn't do a ton there offensively. Hit .219. But this year was hitting .324 at AAA Reno when he got called up. Vidal Nuno looks at ball 1, much to the surprise of everyone apparently in the ballpark. 60 pitches now for Bumgarner. 1-1. Bumgarner so far with 4 strikeouts. Nuno another nice bunt his first time up to move a runner along. 1-2.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he has a chance hitting against Bumgarner. His heart's in it, but his hind end's not. I mean, he's stepping straight in the bucket.
Fans at that one. Bumgarner has now retired 7 straight, but the D-backs have a 1-0 lead. Spanish for the Nuno, and he leads it 1-0. Gonzo, so far so good.
Yeah, you talk about it, 2 pitches, his curveball and fastball. There you see the motion on both sides, and I think that's the problem that most hitters are having problems recognizing. That curveball and fastball, he has the same motion. The only problem, that curveball, he's throwing it down in the dirt, and the fastball staying up.
And he's retired 5 straight as Brandon Crawford leads off the 5th for the Giants. Crawford walked his first time.
During the break, we were checking his splits, his home and road. He gave up 13 home runs at Yankee Stadium, and on the road only 2.
I would think for a soft tossing lefty, and that's what he is, let's be fair, pitching in that ballpark with that ridiculous short right field porch, I would imagine that pitching not only at Chase Field but in this division will make a world of difference.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I'm sure when he's on the mound, he's facing a majority of right-handed hitters. And when he was pitching for the Yankees, those guys, all you have to do is just shoot a line drive to right field with that short porch. It's going to get out of there.
A pop-up gets out in that ballpark. Nuno looked terrific in his D-backs debut last week. Gave up only 3 hits, a walk, and 7 strikeouts, and a no decision against the Marlins, and he leads this one 1-0. And he's got his 3rd strikeout.
You see Tuffy wanting the ball in. Nuno hitting his spots.
If he mixes it up and hits his spots right, he's going to be very effective.
Absolutely. And if you've watched Tuffy the whole game, he's been in and out. He's been just as effective as Nuno has been on the mound. These 2 guys are working very well in sync.
In and out in terms of where he sets up.
Setting up, moving the ball around, just trying to change the hitter's look, his eye level, coming up and in, down and away.
That's a fair ball. Madison Bumgarner pulls it down the left field line. Trumbo has it in the corner, and Bumgarner has a 1-out double. That ball was well hit. He yanked it down the left field line.
Oh, and that ball was just fair. You see Tuffy wants the ball down, and he left that one up in the zone.
Noonan.
Right on the line.
Yeah. 4th hit for the Giants, their 2nd double of the year for Bumgarner, and he's at 2nd with 1 out for the top of the order. Here comes Hunter Pence. And now some work to do for Nuno. His feet are all over the place on her pitch.
He's a very aggressive, not only hitter, but an aggressive player out there.
Looks like he's got ice skates on sometimes up there. 298 now on the year, 0 for 2 so far today. And a 1 for 11 in the series. 1-1.
Barely see Tuffy on that pitch. He was setting up right behind him, trying to get under his hands, tie him up. Replay of that last pitch. He's just trying to get that ball in there.
Going back there. Jam shot. Skied near the bullpen mounds and in the seats. Is that what they're trying to accomplish? That exact type of result by coming in on the hands like that?
Just trying to tie him up. They don't want him to get his hands extended because that's where his power. He can hit a ball a long way when he gets extended. Here they tried to come in one more time. And Hunter knows that. He sucks his hands in there. They may try to go away because now the pitchers or the hitter is starting to think about it, trying to cheat on that ball inside.
Well, after 2 consecutive pitches in on the hands like this, and maybe set up for something away.
You start thinking in as a hitter. Let's see if he wants to. Oh, he's coming back in there.
Wanted it down that time. It's in the dirt, 2-2.
And as a hitter, once you keep getting those pitches inside, you start thinking about cheating for that ball in. And then when that pitcher goes away, you pull off of it.
What do you mean cheating in?
Well, you start thinking to yourself, I got to get the bat head out there early. So you start a little bit earlier to get the head out there. More times than not, sometimes they'll go away on you.
Wants it in the dirt. Tuffy tapping his glove on the dirt there. Right there. Keep it down. Right on the back foot. Two balls and 2 strikes. It hit him. No point, Gonzo, in that sequence did they even try to go away. It was all in. Clearly they have a plan.
They continue to pound them in there. I'm not so sure if that hit his hands. That didn't even look like.
That's a foul ball, isn't it?
I think Gibby's looking back. I don't know if he's.
Well, Blanco is in the box. Looked like it might have hit the bat and not the batter. In any case, we are still playing ball. First and second, 1 out for Gregor Blanco, who singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2.
The replay that we had looked like it didn't even touch him. Like it fouled off the bat, right?
I thought so. If it did, Pence did a heck of a job selling it. They go away to Blanco. He lifts it the other way. Trumbo in left. And he tracks it down in front of the wall. Nicely done by Mark Trumbo for the second out here in the 5th, and that's a big one.
Boy, it really was. Tough play right there, fighting the sun. Trumbo running back. Looks towards the wall. Man, he didn't even see that ball going. That's a good guesstimate right there.
He got the glove to the right spot for the second out. You'll see that Mark, it looks like, is looking at the wall as the ball is going into the glove.
Wow.
Okay.
Hey, it worked.
It sure did. And now you got to get one more out. Pablo Sandoval. He has singled and popped up, 1 for 2. There's a swing and a miss, 0-1.
We'd like to call that court awareness. You know where the ball's going to be, right?
Nuno jumps ahead of the Panda 0-2. We're told that the Germans have scored in the World Cup final. They lead Argentina 1-0. That is in extra time. Got 7 minutes of stoppage time at the end of that ball game. So Schweinsteiger and company lead Messi and company 1-0 so far. 0-2 to the Panda.
And Germany is the favorite in this?
They've been playing better, but Argentina, of course, has Messi. Nice block by Tuffy behind the batter there. It's 1-2. Nuno working hard to get out of this mess. A 1-out double by Bumgarner down the left field line. He hit Pence, at least that's what the umpire said, and then got Blanco to fly out. He's ahead on Sandoval. 1-2, 2 on, 2 out. One more pitch to get out of this. Down the line in left and in the seats.
It really seems like the only mistake that he's made in this inning was that one pitch to Bumgarner.
That ball's well hit too, right on the line.
He threw it right down the middle, and Tuffy wanted it away.
Pitch number 20 in this inning coming up for Vidal Nuno. In the hole, Prado smothers it, and Sandoval beats it out. The throw pulled Goldie off the bag, said Dale Scott at first, and the Giants have the bases loaded. A tremendous play by Martin Prado to save a run and keep that ball from rolling it to left. But the throw apparently pulled the first baseman off the bag.
There you see Pardo making the dive. Nice throw there. Just pulls Goldie off. Nice job by Goldie just to get to that ball.
Yep. No question about that. The foot is off the bag for Goldschmidt. Sandoval's aboard with an infield single, and here comes Mike Harkey.
Well, Prado's initial look was to second base, but with Pence running from first to second, no chance he was going to get him.
Buster Posey comes up in a 1-0 ball game. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Posey so far 0 for 2 and 0 for 6 in the series. So Nuno over 20 pitches in this inning. He had been very efficient through the first 4. But needs to come up with something right here. Bases full of Giants and 2 down. Look at that, 11, 17, 11, 14. Very efficient through the first 4 innings, but he has labored in the 5th.
Had to work a little tougher here.
Ball 1. Well hit, left field, and gone. Grand slam. Buster Posey, his 10th home run. It's 4-1 Giants. His first home run since June 14th. Strike 1 to Morse.
A couple mistake pitches to for Nuno here to Buster Posey. You see that ball down about knee high. And the pitch to Madison Bumgarner were the two bad pitches that he's made, and they cost him.
You can see Tuffy Gozawish set up down and away on the low and outside corner, but the ball leaked back over the middle of the plate, and Posey did not miss it. For his first home run in more than a month. Two balls and a strike to Morse, who's 0 for 2. Headed for the right field corner and out of play. At Stites, who started to throw in the Diamondback bullpen.
Boy, tough inning right here for Nuno. It looked like everything was just going well. Then the wheels fell off right here.
Bumgarner doubled, and he hit Pence both with one out. Got Blanco to fly out on the ball that Trumbo caught with his eyes closed. And a single by Sandoval. The grand slam by Posey. And now he's gone full on Morse.
You know, with the Pence situation, I think they should have just, with 2 strikes already on him, if they were going to pitch around him, I still would have taken a look at it, have one of the infielders come in and talk to the pitcher to get a better look.
A hit by pitch is subject to expanded replay, but they did not challenge the call. More strikes out for the second time. 4-1 Giants through 5 now. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Martin Prado coming up so far 2 for 2. Arizona is brought to you in part by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. And by Bluebell Ice Cream. Celebrate summer with Bluebell's newest flavor, Magic Cookie Bar. It's a home run. Buster Posey's grand slam has made it a 4-1 Giants lead, and now Ender Inciarte leads off the 6th. Up and in from Madison Bumgarner, who has retired the last 7 he's faced. A big inning for the Giants in the 5th. And Posey had the big hit. Ender 1 for 2. He singled to lead off the ball game. 1-1.
D-backs got a lot of work to do now to try to get back into this ball game.
Well, it's a good start. Inciarte has his second hit. Leadoff man aboard in the 6th. Fans, Fox Sports Supports is proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, a groundbreaking initiative created to accelerate innovative cancer research that gets new therapies to patients quickly in order to save lives now. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. Inciarte aboard. Here's Martin Prado, who so far is 2 for 2, a pair of singles. He has driven in the Diamondbacks' only run. We have a World Cup update here, Gonzo. The Germans have won 1-0 in extra time. They beat Messi in Argentina.
Wow.
So it's a victory for Schweinsteiger.
I'll sleep better tonight now.
And the Germans 0-1. World Cup was fun. It was a good run. No, you weren't into it?
Well, I was until the U.S. got eliminated.
In the air to right, here comes Pence. It drops in front. Prado's 3 for 3. Diamondbacks need base runners. So far, so good. They've got the tying run to the plate with nobody out, and it's Goldie.
Well, I bet Prado hit that ball out there to right, and as it's going out there, he's telling them, don't get it like you did yesterday.
You know, it's almost exactly the same spot, too, where Pence took a base hit away from Prado with a nice catch. So Prado has his 10-game hit streak snapped yesterday, but he's 3 for 3 right back at it today. Goldie up there 0 for 2. And now they've got a pitch to him with runners on first and second and nobody out. There's a strike, 0-1.
I'd like to see Goldie run into one here.
Tying up with one swing. He has reached base safely in 32 straight games. That's a career high. Down quickly though, 0-2. He's got an 11-game hit streak and that 32-game streak of reaching base safely on the line. Trying to move up the charts and catch Gonzo. This is away, 1-2.
That pitch is down and away.
Posey trying to frame it.
Yeah, and if that's anybody else, they might get that call to strike, but this is one of the better players in the National League and much less all of baseball. Stripes in this league, and this gentleman right here at the plate has definitely done that.
An 11-game hitting streak, batting .436. He's hit safely in every game this month. And that's a foul ball. Goldie today a chance to match former D-back Orlando Hudson's streak of reaching base safely in 33 straight games, which would leave only you, Gonzo, ahead of Goldie on the all-time list for the D-backs. Your 35-game stretch in '99 and your record 40-game stretch in '98, which I'm sure you would be happy to give up.
I would, especially a guy like this.
Diamondbacks trying to get right back in this thing. 1-2 to Goldie, 2 on, nobody out. If you're just tuning over from the World Cup final, Buster Posey a grand slam in the bottom of the 5th has given the Giants a 4-1 lead after Prado's RBI single in the 3rd made it 1-0 D-backs. 1-2 to Goldie. There goes Inciarte. They got him picked off. Martin Prado, it looked like, got shoved off the bag, and Lance Barksdale has called him out. Here comes Kirk Gibson. They tried the inside move on the previous delivery. Inciarte held. That time they had him picked off. And now it's a question of how many Diamondback base runners have been called out here.
Yeah, not a good move by Inciarte there, trying to get to third. Now I'm sure the umpires are going to talk this one over, and
You can see Dale Scott, the crew chief, coming over from first base, calling in Kerwin Danley from third. Here it is.
Well, common sense will tell you that he pushed him off.
He's on the bag, was shoved off, and then Sandoval applied the tag, and that's when Barksdale called him out. Inciarte out, Prado on the bag, now off it. And they will let Martin Prado stay at second base. They have reversed the call. So a good job there by the umpires to huddle up and get that right. And now Bruce Bochy would like an explanation. Boy, the Panda just kind of barreled over there and knocked Martin off the bag.
Yeah, but the key to this inning is not smart base running by Inciarte right there. You got your best hitter at the plate. With one swing, he could tie this game up.
Yeah, you can't get thrown out on the bases with Goldie up. And that's the second time today that Ender Inciarte has been thrown out trying to go second to third. The first time was in the first inning when he tried to go first to third on a Prado base hit to right. Pence threw him out at third. And now he's picked off by Bumgarner. You can clearly see there again that Sandoval had shoved Martin, and that's what the umpires saw. So they have reversed that call. So it's Prado at second, one out, and a 1-2 count on Paul Goldschmidt. Almost threw it into center field. Nice play by Adrianza to keep that from getting out there.
We're trying a lot of action there today at second base.
Into right field, Hunter Pence backing up, and he has got it in the wall. Prado has to scramble back to the bag. A nice running catch into that fence by Hunter Pence, the All-Star. We saw yesterday, Gonzo, Pence come in on a ball that went over his head. That time he tracked it down at the track.
Yeah, he did. He made a great play. Snow cone catch out in right field. Goldie gave it a nice run to right field, but not enough. Nice play by Hunter Pence. Unfortunate for the D-backs.
Just in the pocket there. And you can see Prado, when Pence caught it, was at third base and had a long way to go to get back. Well, a couple of tough breaks in this inning for the D-backs. Here's Trumbo. They had first and second, no outs, down 4-1 with Goldie up. But Inciarte is picked off. Pence takes extra bases away from Goldschmidt. So now it's 1 on, 2 out for Trumbo. That one got Buster Posey.
Be a catcher.
Spun that hockey mask all the way around sideways on him.
Well, we know what happens to your partner once in a while up here. He's taking a few of those.
Explains a few things, huh?
You're never thinking about Brenly up here. That's why he was a catcher.
Buster Posey started out at Florida State as a shortstop. Such a team leader, that the coach down there, Mike Martin, thought, I got to make this guy the catcher. It worked out pretty well. Buster Posey was an All-American shortstop with the Seminoles before he was a catcher. Bumgarner drops that in for a strike, 2-2.
Just a slow breaking ball, 77 miles an hour. The outer half here of the plate.
Backdoor breaking ball in there for strike 2. It's full. Aaron Hill would be next. Prado at second. 2 outs, 3 balls, and 2 strikes to Trumbo, who wants time. Mark so far has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Sandoval again at third. He has had a heck of a series with the glove down there at third base. But the big defensive play in this inning turned in by Hunter Pence, who saved at least 1 run and took extra bases away from Goldie. D-backs at first and second, nobody out, and cannot get a run across. It's still 4-1 Giants. Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink. San Francisco, California, Diamondbacks and Giants. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by Sanderson Ford. And the D-backs trail the Giants 4-1 home half of the 6th after a rough inning for Arizona. First and second, nobody out. They cannot get a run across. And now Matt Stites is out there to open up the 6th in relief of Vidal Nuno. And Matt Stites looking better and better, Gonzo. That ERA now at 2.61, his 12th appearance.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job coming up for the Diamondbacks and pitching as well as he has.
Joaquin Arias leads it off. Arias, Adrianza, Crawford, 6, 7, and 8 in the San Francisco 6th. Arias so far has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. Left center field, Inciarte, a long way to go, and it drops in front. It kicks off the glove, and now it gets behind Trumbo, and Arias is in at second. Trumbo over there to back up. He was right where he was supposed to be, but Ender kind of deflected that one in the other direction.
Yeah, he was caught up a little bit in between, not knowing whether to dive or just pull up and let that ball bounce. By the time it got to him, it was right on top of him. So all he did was throw the glove up and it hit off the end.
That is a single for Arias. E8, the error on Inciarte in center. You could see Mark's momentum from going over to back up the play carried him away from the baseball after Inciarte deflected it. So a single and an error has Arias at second to lead off the inning. And here's ARI Adrianza. Ender did a really good job to get over there. He had a run about 50, 60 yards from where that ball landed. Adrianza doubled in the second. He's 1 for 2.
Nice job by Stites getting that fastball in on 95 miles an hour.
What have you seen from Stites that you'd like to see?
I just like his aggressive style. He doesn't mess around. He just tries to go right at these guys.
He's got the stuff to do that, and that's for sure.
And he's not intimidated by them either. Another young quality arm in the Diamondbacks system.
There's a lot of bullpen depth in the organization. Late time granted by Gabe Morales. We've seen Evan Marshall. We've seen Matt Stites. Maybe Jake Barrett, the ASU Sun Devil, is next. A lot of other guys down there as well that are options. As we watch this bullpen evolve over the course of the second half of this season.
Well, and I think what helps now is they're getting experience up here. They're becoming better, and more experienced guys are gaining a little bit of confidence getting thrown out there. It's only going to help in the long run.
Popped up. Nick Ahmed makes a nice, no, he didn't catch it. He had it and then dropped it, says Lance Barksdale at second. Just a little jam shot pop up. Ahmed had to come way in from shortstop. Seemed like he had it momentarily, but then Barksdale says it hit the ground.
Yeah, he was running in, looking right into the sun, and snow coned it.
Wow, that's a tough error. E6. So 2 errors in this inning for the D-backs. And the Giants have first and second, nobody out. Strike one to Brandon Crawford, 0 for 2. Or pardon me, 0 for 1. He walked his first time up. And Bumgarner is on deck.
Once again, the D-backs are in trouble here without anybody out. Second consecutive inning. Well, I tell you, that's how quick this game can change. They were on a roll. First 4 innings playing well. All of a sudden the pitcher leads off with a double, gets a double down the line, a controversial hit by pitch, and a grand slam.
It did not appear that Hunter Pence was hit by that pitch. It certainly looked like it was a foul ball off the bat, but there was no challenge.
I think you got to give Hunter credit for selling it.
He sure did. Academy Award type stuff. And then Sandoval, of course, had that little infield roller in the hole, sneak through to left for a base hit. So bases loaded before Posey unloaded. A grand slam, his 10th home run. 2-1 to Crawford. 3 balls and a strike. Let's take a look now at Hunter Pence. This is in the 5th inning with 1 out and 1 on.
Yeah, the side view gives you a better look at it. He thought about it, and then he threw his hands on, and what surprised me, he's shaking his left hand. And
you can see Tuffy turn around and look at Gabe Morales. You sure that hit him? This is drifting into the seats and out of play. Hit by pitch is subject to expanded replay. It is reviewable.
Yeah, and we really didn't give our video guys enough time to look it over. We should have had a position guy or somebody come in to talk to the pitcher for a little bit.
Try to buy some time. 2 on, nobody out. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Brandon Crawford. Arias is the runner at second. Adrianza at first.
Big pitch right here for Stites. '97. He's starting to get loose now up there.
He can hump it up there, that's for sure. It gets on you in a hurry.
Crawford keeps battling.
He has been struggling lately, Crawford. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. He's only got 1 extra base hit in his last 18 games. And is hitting just $175 over that span. But he's giving Matt Stites all he can handle right here. Another 3-2. Bases loaded, nobody out. Second time that Crawford has walked today. And here comes Bumgarner. Last time he was up, he laced a double down the left field line. Arias, Adrianza, Crawford. Nobody out for the pitcher. Madison Bumgarner, by the way, does have a grand slam this year as a hitter. And now he's got 2. 8-1 Giants. Hey now, you're an all-star. Second grand slam of the ball game for San Francisco. Posey in the 5th and Bumgarner in the 6th. Two and one on Pence. Matt Stites still trying to record his first out of this inning. He's had 2 errors behind him, a walk and a grand slam.
Anything that could possibly go wrong for the D-backs has happened this inning.
Evan Marshall has started to throw in the Diamondback bullpen. Gozawish completes the strikeout, and there's the first out. One more look at Madison Bumgarner, the all-star pitcher, who today has a double and a grand slam at the plate.
When Tuffy set up away, and that ball came right over center cut, right down the middle of the plate.
All smiles in the Giant dugout. They have been shut out 5 times in their last 13 games, but they put up 8 so far today. Gregor Blanco 1 for 3, a single in the 3rd. Madison Bumgarner's other grand slam this year was June 15th against the Rockies. So he's doing all his damage offensively against the division.
Stites seemed to be struggling with his command a little bit here.
Not bad for a pitcher who's got 2 grand slams in the course of 1 month. June 15th and July 13th.
Most starting pitchers don't have 8 RBIs in a season.
Or a career. And there's the new All-Star, Tim Hudson. He will join Bumgarner in Minneapolis. Bumgarner won't be able to pitch, obviously, Tuesday, starting today's ball game. So Hudson will join him there, and Bumgarner will just be a spectator. But maybe they use him as a pinch hitter.
You never know in the All-Star game. You're only as good as your last at bat, right?
Yeah. So you run out of pitchers. 2-2 on Blanco. That's on a play. We stay 2-2. Giants staff here scurrying through the record books to look at a long list of multiple Grand Slam games, not just for the ball club, but for a pitcher. Back with you on Friday, home sweet home, Chase Field, 1-3 against the Cubs on Fox Sports Arizona. And then it's the Detroit Tigers in after that.
Stites had to throw a lot of pitches this inning.
Just the 3rd time, we're told, in the history of the San Francisco Giants that they have hit multiple grand slams in a game. You have to go back to April of 1970. They had 2 grand slams in a game against the Expos. And then in September of 1998, 2 grand slams in a game against the Dodgers. And now the Diamondbacks are on that list. Posey a grand slam in the 5th, and Bumgarner here in the 6th. 3-2 to Gregor Blanco. Second walk in the inning issued by Matt Stites. Here comes Kirk Gibson. He wants Evan Marshall. Well, his defense didn't do him any favors, Gonzo, but a couple of walks and 1 big pitch to Bumgarner. That's it for Stites. Here comes Evan Marshall. We'll take a break. Back after this.
series between the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Evan from Sunnyvale, California, was a big Giants fan growing up. That is Mike McCormick, 1967 Cy Young Award winner when Evan was just 7 years old. And Evan's a big Bay Area fan. You see him there with the Niners jersey on. He's also a fan of the San Jose Sharks as well. But family and friends have been surrounding him here. He was home. He came here Wednesday night, got to get some home cooking from Mom. And, of course, he's excited to be on this mound. He used to go to games at Candlestick Park, guys. And for him to be here in this park now, pitching in the majors, is a dream come true.
It's been that kind of season for Evan Marshall, Jody, that's for sure. So he and Brad Ziegler, two big San Jose Shark fans. Brad's a nut for the Sharks.
It's always exciting to come back as a visitor and play in front of your family and friends. And be around an area where you idolize different teams and players.
Well, you got to imagine that Evan Marshall will make a whole lot of appearances in this ballpark over the course of what appears to be a very promising career. Candlestick Park just down the road a bit. Still standing. Drove right by it on the way in from the airport, actually, on Thursday. Niners have a new ballpark opening up this year. 1-1 on the Panda, who's got a pair of hits. He's scored a run. That is rolled into right for his third hit today. And Blanco takes the turn. He'll head to third. Sandoval, 3 hits Friday and 3 hits on Sunday. Buster Posey, last time he was up, he hit the first of 2 grand slams by the Giants today. Just the 3rd time in their history they've done that. A grand slam for Posey, his first home run in a month, June 14th, the last one. Let's take one more look. This off Vidal Nuno in the 5th.
He got a pitch down in the zone where he can elevate.
That was his first hit in the series, and it was a big one. Diamondbacks had a 1-0 lead at that point. And Posey was up, and then a 1-0 game, bases loaded, 2 outs. Right to Ahmed at short, who goes top shelf to snare that one. And that's the 2nd out in the 6th. Nick Ahmed, who had a tough error assigned to him earlier in this inning, goes up to get that one.
He used every inch of his height too to get that one. A couple hard balls hit there by Posey his last 2 times up.
Yep. So Michael Morse, the 9th man to hit in this inning, comes up. He is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. A 9-game hitting streak on the line for Morse today. He's a big guy at 6'5", and he holds that long bat way out there.
Yeah, he is, and when you stand next to him, he makes you look small. 6'5". Just thick.
Yeah. 96 for Marshall, 1-1.
This has turned into a long inning once again for the Diamondbacks out there on the field.
Two and one. Morse, the 9th man to hit here. Started off with an Arias single. Advanced to second on an error by Inciarte in center. Adrianza reached on a shallow pop-up that Ahmed came charging in on. It rolled out of his glove. They gave him an error on the play. 2-2 now. And then Crawford walked to load the bases for Bumgarner, who hit his second grand slam of the year and the second of the game for the Giants. And a strikeout of Pence, a walk to Blanco. Sandoval at first with a single. And now it's Morse. They're on the corners. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This is there. It's full, 3-2. Bumgarner's 2 grand slams, by the way, coming in a span of only 7 at bats. Pretty good production.
I think there's a lot of everyday players like to have that.
And now the bases are loaded. And the Giants have batted around. 3rd walk in the inning issued by D-backs relievers.
Marius is the one who started this rally with the single to center with the arrow from Inciarte right after.
Yep. Dropped it into left center field, and it kicked off the glove of Ender Inciarte. Allowing Arias to get to second. He scored on a Bumgarner grand slam, and this one is hit to Ender in center. Got a late break, but comes in and snares that one, and finally the side is retired. We'll head to the 7th in San Francisco. D-backs trail it 8-1. th great day to escape the heat and join us at Chase Field. Bring the whole family. D-backs and Cubs, a 1:10 start at Star Wars Day. And the first 5,000 kids in attendance will get this back-to-school backpack, courtesy of Cox Communication. Visit dbacks.com today for tickets. And we'll see you at the ballpark July 20th. Madison Bumgarner now with an 8-1 lead. Oliver Perez throwing in the Diamondback bullpen. Aaron Hill leads off the 7th. Hill, Ross, Gozawish, 5, 6, and 7 against Bumgarner. Defensive changes for the Giants. Michael Morse moves from left field over to first base. Takes over for Joaquin Arias. And Tyler Colvin, a former Cub and Rocky, replaces Morse in left. Aaron Hill 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out.
The thing for Bumgarner now is just throw strikes, let his defense do the work behind him. The D-backs got to string together a lot of hits and runners on to try to get some production here.
Bumgarner has given up only 6 hits, all singles. He's got 5 strikeouts. It's been quite a day for Madison Bumgarner. Only the 7th pitcher ever with 2 career grand slams, and Bumgarner had both of them in the span of 1 month. And 7 at bats as Aaron Hill is in the hit column. A leadoff single for the D-backs in the 7th. Here comes Cody Ross.
Got to keep scratching and clawing here, see if they can get some runs, try to get back in it. Got 9 outs away.
What a way to go into the All-Star game for Madison Bumgarner, having an All-Star day.
And for him, going to the All-Star game knowing that he doesn't have to work in it because he's getting his work in today.
Well, like going to fantasy camp or something.
Right, just hanging out.
He tends to take everything in stride anyway.
It's a fan experience for him. He just put on a big league uniform and sit around everybody else.
Not bad. Collect some autographs and some souvenirs. Madison Bumgarner, he is country. He's from Hudson, North Carolina, a town so small, he says, you pretty much wave at everybody you see. Drafted 10th overall by the Giants. Out of high school there. He paid off his mom's house, and well, if you're from Hudson, North Carolina, you get a big signing bonus. What else do you do? Naturally, you buy yourself a new pickup truck. Got one for himself and one for his then fiancee Allie. His other truck was 10 years old, had 150,000 miles on it, so he got a new one. And when they got married finally, he and Allie wanted a bull calf, so he bought her one. So he got her a pickup truck and a cow. That's how they roll.
Not the typical one. Want the jewelry or anything else?
She wanted a bull calf, yeah. They got a ranch down there where they plan to raise horses. Eric Chavez does that out in the valley. He and his wife have some horses. They've built a whole spread out there in their place. First round pick in 07 out of Hudson, North Carolina. 10th player selected overall. Two and two.
Well, Cody's one guy that you'd like to see continue to get better. He's been struggling so much with his bat and his injuries.
He's sitting on 499 career RBIs. So this would be a good place to get 500. The former Giant. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. He's like you. He was a former Tiger. He was actually drafted by Detroit as a 4th round pick in '99.
I never played with him there. I played with him with the Marlins. So I'll tell you, when he's on a hot streak, he can carry a ball club.
He's extended the at-bat. 9th pitch coming up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We'll go for 10. Well, he got hot, of course, in that NLCS in 2010 against the Phillies when he went 7 for 20 and won the MVP award. Also homered in the Division Series and the World Series that year. Cody Ross hits it high and deep to the left field corner, and that ball is gone. A home run. Cody Ross his second home run, RBIs for the career, number 500 and 501. And that's the Cody Ross the D-backs fans have been hoping to see. And it's an 8-3 ball game.
A nice swing by Cody Ross here. You see the ball right center cut right down the middle. Gave it a little bat flip at the end. Knew he had it.
Giants fans have seen that bat flip once or twice. His first home run since May 18th against the Dodgers 39 games ago for Cody. And his second this season. Bruce Bochy, a little chat with a guy known around here as Mad Bum. Gutierrez has started to throw for the Giants.
We got 2 runs back without any outs, so we got to continue to keep pecking away.
There's some time to go here. Strike one, a toughie goes away. That had to feel great for Cody.
Quieted the crowd down a little bit here. They're still winning. You couldn't tell.
You think it was 8-7 and not 8-3. A hush is falling over the ballpark here by the Bay. 1-2. They look depressed. Bounce to short. Crawford comes in. And that's the first out in the 7th. Well, it's our last AT&T fan photo of the first half of the season, Gonzo. You and I have had the honor. And thanks to all of you who tweeted in your fan photo using the hashtag AZFanPhoto, brought to you by AT&T. This guy Kevin has built a whole thing down there in his basement. It looks like a little D-back bar he had put in.
Is that right?
Nick Ahmed looks at ball one. Take another look at the work that Kevin has done. I don't see a Gonzo picture up there. That probably hurt him. In the hole and off the glove. Sandoval can't corral that. Ahmed's aboard for the second time today. He's got his second hit as it rolls into left center. Well, the Pandas got everything in this series. He couldn't quite get that one. And so here is Kevin's. He did a nice job. It's like one of those home makeover shows down there.
Pretty nice. Waiting for the invite over there to the house. Nice job, Kev.
Thanks to all of you who tweeted in your fan photo. So Nick Evans will hit for the pitcher. 3 D-backs hits in the inning. They're not going away here. Not by a long shot. Ahmed 2 for 3. Nick Evans 2 hits in 17 at bats this year. One of them a home run at Coors Field back in the first week of June. He is 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter this season. He's ahead 2-0.
Another base hit here, another runner on will get these Giants. I know they're scrambling in the bullpen. Will get them thinking a little bit about the comeback from the D-backs.
Well, Bumgarner during that long 6th inning when the Giants sent 10 men to the plate was sitting in the dugout about a half hour. Evans laces that one down the left field line. It's in the corner. Ahmed being waved home. He'll make it an 8-4 ball game. And Nick Evans has an RBI double. D-backs trying to scratch their way back into this thing. And they have answered the Giants with 3 so far in the 7th.
Posey's going to go out there now and try to stall out a little bit of time.
Really well hit by Nick Evans. Here comes Nick Ahmed. All the way in from first. He has scored his second run today. And that's going to be it for Madison Bumgarner. He leaves here with one out in the seventh, leading a 4, responsible for one base runner. And a lead to a standing ovation, but the Diamondbacks have made this a ball game again. It's 8-4 in the seventh. Back after this. Is brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox. Back in San Francisco, Diamondbacks back in it. 8-4 and still threatening here in the seventh. They have chased Madison Bumgarner. Javier Lopez on now to face Ender Inciarte with Nick Evans at second after his pinch hit RBI double. The lefty specialist, Javi Lopez, threw 5 pitches last night. Came on to get Inciarte in the ninth, got him to ground out to second. The numbers on the lefty specialist this year. A 2.89 ERA, his 36th appearance.
Well, that strikeout and walks is a lot different than what he used to be a couple of years ago.
He can still make left-hand hitters look silly.
Really tough on those left-handers with that sweep and breaking ball. Sidearm motion.
Aaron Hill started us off with a single, scored on a Cody Ross homer. Gozawish grounded out. Ahmed singled. Evans has doubled. Here's Inciarte. Fans at that one for the strikeout, 2 down. Madison Bumgarner leaves in the seventh. He hit a grand slam in the sixth, his second grand slam this year. He also hit one June 15th at Colorado. And these are all the pitchers in the history of baseball who have 2 grand slams in their career. Bumgarner has had 2 in this season. Last time a pitcher hit 2 in the same year, Tony Cloninger there in yellow. 1966. That was for the Braves against these Giants at Candlestick Park. Pitching change back after this. who's had a rough time of things lately. Opponents hitting .351 against him over the past 10 games, his 39th appearance of the year. He has struggled against the division. 0-2 versus the NL West this year with a 5.30 ERA. He's in there to face Martin Prado with 2 outs and Nick Evans the runner at second. Prado so far 3 for 3. 3 singles. Strike one.
We'd like to see Prado pick up that 4th hit this afternoon. Put us within 1 here. I tell you, the D-backs, although they fell behind 8-1, they still got some fight in them. They've been battling, trying to get back into this game.
They've out-hit the Giants 10-9. They have scored 3 in this inning after the Giants took an 8-1 lead. One through the infield here makes it a 3-run ball game. But Prado's down 0-2. Nick Evans the runner at second after a big pinch hit RBI double. That's followed the Nick Ahmed single. Cody Ross earlier in this inning, a 2-run homer, his 2nd of the year.
Tried to overthrow on that one, just sailed it up and away.
Giants will have the bottom third of the order due up in their 7th. Oliver Perez will get the ball for the D-backs. He is ready. He's been warming up in the bullpen. That's out of play. Strike 3. Gutierrez rings up Prado. They retire Martin for the first time today. Diamondbacks strand 1, but they get 3. 2 on the Cody Ross homer as Cody goes yard for the Diamondbacks. His first homer since May 18th, and the D-backs have cut the lead in half. It's 8-4. Fans Tuesday Baseball's best gather in Minnesota. Derek Jeter's final All-Star game. It should be an unforgettable night. Paul Goldschmidt, Miguel Montero will be there for the D-backs. It all starts with special coverage 4:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Then the ball game, the 2014 All-Star game. Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox. Goldie will be there. The first D-backs position player voted in to start the game since Gonzo. And the Diamondbacks will be well represented. Take a look at our APS Energy All-Star for the ball game. We're going down to South Bend. Here's some good Diamondbacks news for you. Single A South Bend, the shortstop there, Andrew Velasquez. A second inning single today. He has now reached base safely in 72 straight games, a new minor league record. That surpasses the previous mark of 71 set by Kevin Millar and Kevin Youkilis.
Oh, that's unbelievable. I think 72 consecutive games getting on base. Wow.
Yeah, the Red Sox had a prospect, Mookie Betts, who had a run like that earlier this year. He's now in the big leagues. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks, the left-hander Oliver Perez, a 2.12 ERA in 38 appearances.
Another good news too, Braden Shipley was going to pitch today in the Futures game.
Yep, that's a Target Field. A showcase for all the top prospects in baseball, and the #1 pick from last year out of Nevada, Braden Shipley, is going to pitch in that ball game. A great honor for him. ARI At SFN will lead it off. D-backs have out-hit the Giants 10-9, but they trail at 8-4. San Fran with 2 grand slams. Posey in the 5th and Bumgarner, the pitcher, in the 6th. Bumgarner's 2nd grand slam in a month.
And Oliver Perez always been one of those pitchers, herky-jerky up there, a lot of motion. A couple breaking balls, back door there.
Gives you all kinds of different looks. Kind of makes up his mind, he says, as he's about to throw. There is no plan for the motion per se. Just kind of wings it. And he strikes out Adrianza.
He dropped down sidearm when he has to.
How big of a distraction or disadvantage would all this be for the hitter?
Well, I mean, as a left-handed hitter, when you're facing guys like Perez here, their job is to try to distract you and take you out of your normal stride or stance, and that's why they're called the lefty specialist. Their job is to come in at times to get these guys in the middle of the order, left-handed hitters. So, you know, you don't see too many of them. That's why left-handers are always at a premium when you could find good ones.
And then to top it off with Oliver, you've got the shimmy and the shake and the El Tiante and the whole thing, and then he drops down sidearm sometimes. He gives you all those different looks.
Yeah, like you said, he just makes it up as he goes along. He's not a routine guy. So as you're seeing it at the plate, and you guys at home are watching it, so is the catcher, because he doesn't know from what angle he's going to be coming.
And Oliver says he gets the sign, and then right about here decides, well, what do I feel like right here? And just kind of makes it up.
And his follow throw isn't. You see him get his sign, come set, gives you a lean.
Drops that one in there for a strike, 1-1.
It's a slower breaking ball. Yeah, he amazes me. Even when you watch him from the dugout or the side views, everything that he does, he's so quirky up there that sometimes makes you laugh.
Pitcher spot is due up next, and Joe Panik, the rookie second baseman, is in the on-deck circle. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brandon Crawford, who has walked twice today. Here's Joe Panik. They got Scudero back yesterday, but this kid is the second baseman of the future in San Francisco. Perez gets the lefty matchup, but falls behind 3-1. Well,
the thing as a hitter is you can't look at all the motion. You just got to try to pick the ball up coming out of his hand. And Oliver tries to distract you by doing all the little herky-jerky stuff that he does. That's what makes these left-handers so unique when they come into the ball game.
Well hit center field. Ender Inciarte has room. 2 down. So here's Joe Panik to hit for the pitcher. Joe Panik, first round pick out of St. John's in the 2011 draft by the Giants, the 29th player selected overall. 220 on the year. .16 starts in the big league so far. He opened up very slowly at the plate, 4 hits in his first 23 at bats, but since then he's hit about 260. One.
Well, he's got to be sitting there on the bench going, you don't have any other right-handed guys you could throw out there instead of. But actually, Scudero, who played yesterday, came in today with a bad back, sore again.
I don't want to rush Scudero back too quickly after missing the entire season and play him the back-to-back games. Remember, they had Belt in the starting lineup originally. He had to be scratched with a stiff back.
And Adrianza, their other switch hitter, is in the game, and Hector Sanchez, their backup catcher.
And they have Colton, who they put into left field for Morse as well. So they're pretty much out of bodies down there.
So go get them, kid.
That's right.
You got them.
2-2.
But this is a good opportunity for him to just see a tough left-hander at Perez.
Well, he reached a 3-ball count on Crawford. And now he's gone 3-2 on another left-hand hitter, Panik.
You'd like to see Perez get these guys a little bit earlier in the count, but he's struggling with his command at times.
There's the strikeout. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Oliver Perez, who works a 1-2-3 7th and sends us to the 8th in an 8-4 ball game. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Goldie with a hit streak and on base streak on the line. He'll lead it off. Only official home run derby mobile game from MLB.com. You can square off against your friends from around the world live in multiplayer derby mode and climb to the top of the leaderboard. Just download today for free on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Afternoon at the ballpark in San Francisco, and the former closer Sergio Romo is on. We saw Romo work an inning and a third last night. Through 15 pitches, he's out there to face Goldie to lead off the 8th. Paul Goldschmidt 0 for 3 so far. An 11-game hitting streak, a 32-game streak in which he's reached base safely on the line. First pitch chopped to Crawford, and Goldie's 0 for 4. One out in the 8th. Here's Mark Trumbo. So the Diamondbacks trying to get some offense going, not just to get back in the ball game, but to try and give Paul Goldschmidt one more at bat before we send him off to Target Field for the All-Star game Tuesday on Fox. Trumbo 0 for 3.
Goldie and Miggy's day is just starting. They'll get on a flight, a charter out of here, and head over to Minnesota and get in there and check in. A lot of festivities tomorrow and the following day.
How hectic is it?
It's exciting to be there, but there is a lot of extra activities that go along with it. So
can it wear you down at all?
A little bit, a little bit. The easy part is actually the game.
Paul and his wife Amy showed up in San Francisco with 2 sets of luggage, one for the weekend here. That'll go back to Arizona on a team plane, and they packed another set of bags to go on to Minneapolis for the All-Star game.
And I saw Miggy yesterday, as soon as the game was over, with his wife at the mall trying to buy stuff for the.
Because he didn't know he was going when he came here.
He was a late add-on.
He didn't get to pack 2 sets of luggage. Trumbo strikes out for the second time today, 2 down. So he needs Paul Goldschmidt reaching base safely in 32 straight games. Need one more time up there to tie the O-Dog. And then Gonzo, you're just ahead of him on this list.
I'm sure that's not going to be the last time Goldie's on this list in his career. As good a player as he is, he'll be on there quite a few more times.
2 down. Aaron Hill singled and scored his last time up, 1 for 3. Romo throwing strikes. He did the same thing last night, through 15 pitches, 12 for strikes. He struck out Aaron Hill and Martin Prado in that ball game, and also Trumbo in the 9th. He just got Trumbo again, and now he's even on Hill, 1-1. Well,
he does work fast when he gets up there on the mound.
Slider for a strike, 1-2. That's the pitch that gets you. He'll throw that in there for a strike, and then throw what, 2-3 more way over in the left-hand batter's
Yeah, he's got that frisbee slider that he likes to throw. That's his out pitch.
Posey sets up inside there. It's right out over the plate, but comes back in for a strike, and now he might throw one down and away. That's where Posey sets up to get Hill to chase, and he does. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Romo. D-backs trail at 8-4. Press brought to you by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores is set to take you to the D-backs game on August 10th. So just stop by this month's participating Cox Solution Store in Casa Grande, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. All the info you need is at foxsportsarizona.com, and we'll see you at Chase Field August 10th. 5th pitcher of the ball game in for the Diamondbacks. Double switch for Kirk Gibson. Here's Randall Delgado. Pitcher spot for Arizona is now 5th in the order. Didi Gregorius takes over at second base for Aaron Hill, and Didi will bat 9th. Hunter Pence leads off the 8th for the Giants. There's the strike, 0-1 from Randall Delgado. Diamondbacks have done a good job with Pence in this series. He's 1 for 12 and hitless today. Pence in the 5th proved to be a fairly critical call in the game. Was ruled by Gabe Morales to have been hit by this pitch. It appeared from our look like it went off the bat. Should have been a foul ball.
Yeah, that was his biggest at bat of the game, because that just opened up the inning for the Giants.
You can see Tuffy turn around and go, "You sure that got him?" But the Diamondbacks did not challenge. After that, Blanco flied out, Sandoval singled, and Posey hit a grand slam.
Yeah, I think you know, anytime things happen so fast on the field, but anytime if there's any type of play like that should be in question, you should probably have one of your guys try to run in there and stall out a little bit, talk to the pitcher, so you can give your video guy extra chance to see it.
Center field playable for Inciarte. Hit by a pitch is subject to expanded review. It is reviewable.
And you see that a lot of times on close plays at first. The manager will run out there, and he really doesn't even have a conversation with the umpire. They're both looking in the dugout waiting for the thumbs up or thumbs down from the extra bench coach.
You can always stall. Gregor Blanco aboard twice today, a single in the 3rd. He walked his last time up. Trying to bunt for a base hit. Delgado's on it. Threw him out. Dale Scott had Didi Gregorius sneaking up behind him to back up the play. And as Dale Scott wound up to give his out mechanic, suddenly he had Gregorius right behind him on his heels.
This is a nice play by Delgado right here. Not only that, he's running towards the line. He had to make a throw across. Didi apologizing to the umpire, Dale Scott.
Very nicely done by Randall Delgado, that's for sure. So 2 down. Here's the Panda, who's got 3 hits. 3 singles. He scored a run. A pair of 3-hit games in the series for Sandoval, who always seems to be a problem for the Diamondbacks. He's a .321 career hitter versus Arizona. That was coming into the ball game today. 60 RBIs in 96 games against the D-backs.
He's done it well offensively, and not only that, but in this series he's played big defensively against the Diamondbacks. He's made some big plays out there for him in this series.
A bunch of them, several it seems, in each ball game over the course of this weekend. And he's a free agent after this season. Still very young for a guy to hit the open market. He's 27. He'll turn 28 in August. And he has reportedly asked for the same deal that Hunter Pence got from the Giants this winter, 5 years, $90 million. Which, given his production, is not unreasonable for the marketplace. But when you look at the weight and all that stuff and how he can get into or out of shape in the offseason, it's a concern. And it's something that the Giants have thought long and hard about and will continue to do so.
You see the general manager, Brian Sabian.
There's the Yankees. They have money. They need a third baseman. Dodgers have money. They might need a third baseman. And it gets a 2-out walk.
Well, I think the thing that plays well with Sandoval is if the Yankees do make a play on him, he's a left-handed hitter, and they always look for those lefties because of that short porch in right field.
The switch hitter, left hand is his power side. There's no doubt he would do very well at Yankee Stadium. a natural lefty. Buster Posey, 1 for 4. He's only got 1 hit in this series, but it was a big one. The grand slam in the 5th, first of 2 grand slams the Giants have hit today. Posey in the 5th and Bumgarner in the 6th. In fact, Posey and Bumgarner, the first starting battery, of course meaning the pitcher and catcher, first starting battery in Major League history to hit grand slams in the same game. We've had that today. So it's been an eventful afternoon by the Bay in San Francisco. In the air, right center field. Ender Inciarte going a long way over there, but Cody Ross tracks it down right in front of Triple's alley. A nice job by Cody there to get to that one, and that ends the inning. We'll go to the 9th. Diamondbacks trail at 8-4. It's air conditioning, cool play of the game. Cody Ross, the former Giant back in San Francisco, with a bat flip and the home run. His 2nd home run of the season, his first since May 18th. RBIs for the career, number 500 and 501. So Cody Ross gets our Chaz Roberts air conditioning. Cool play of the game. He's 1 for 3. The homers last time up, a 2-run shot. Made it an 8-3 ball game. Diamondbacks added 1 more on the Nick Evans pinch hit RBI double later in that inning. And so they're down 4 as we start the 9th against Santiago Casilla. A 1.05 ERA in 30 appearances. Ross, Gozawish, Ahmed, 6, 7, and 8 in the Diamondback 9th. There's the strike, the 1-1.
D-backs need to get a couple base runners here. I don't know what can happen.
Also trying to get Paul Goldschmidt 1 more at bat if possible in this inning. Goldie 0 for 4 today. He's got an 11-game hit streak and a 32-game on-base streak on the line before he heads off to Minnesota right after the ball game, along with Miguel Montero, to represent the Diamondbacks at the All-Star game Tuesday on Fox. 1-2. How does that work when you went down there? Did you get your own plane? Remember even?
We did a couple times when there's multiple players that are going.
Everybody, how do they arrange that? Everybody just passes the hat, or they get?
Well, the team did it a couple times.
Nice. Well, you're going to the All-Star game. You got to travel in style. You can't just show up in a cab or something, right?
Well, the tough part is if you're playing the teams that have the tough draw are the ones that are playing the Sunday night game.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because those guys get in and I remember when the D-backs sent the whole coaching staff and about 6 or 7 players. We chartered our own plane because of the simple fact we were getting in at 1 or 2 in the morning. So it was rough getting in there.
The Yankees and the Orioles have the late game tonight. Tuffy goes away, show for 3.
Once you get out there, though, that excitement takes over. All the good players and being around the energy and the superstars that are out there, and you get caught up a little bit being a fan too. Against, you know, you're around guys that you admire and respect in the game.
And so many of these players collect stuff themselves, don't they? So these guys all want to get signed bats and balls and things from guys they now share an all-star clubhouse with.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of these guys, the first day you're in there, there is a whole room full of baseballs and jerseys and different things that these players have to go in there and sign for probably an hour to 2 hours, that they have an overabundance of things that they have to get after to do before they get out on the field.
Tim Hudson will be going there. As goes to a strike zone. 3 bats down to their last out. Hudson will take Bumgarner's spot on the roster. Tim Hudson just found out today he's going to be an all-star. Bumgarner starting today's ball game, so naturally he can't pitch on Tuesday, but he'll go and be a fan. Last man standing, Nick Ahmed.
There's a pretty good chance Hudson went home during this game and probably packed the bag real quick.
Ahmed, 2 singles. He has scored twice. 2 for 3. Of those jerseys moving up the charts, and we'll see him at Chase Field when we're back on Friday for 3 against the Cubs and then 3 against the Tigers. Don't forget dbacks.com/tickets. The Wednesday game next week is a day game. That means matinee pricing. So join us at Chase Field, enjoy the air conditioned comfort, watch the Diamondbacks and Detroit Tigers. That'll be fun. And a big weekend of giveaways against the Cubs. 2-2. Popped him up near the D-back dugout. Michael Morse has it, and the Giants win it 8-4. They take 2 of 3. Well, things started off nicely for the D-backs. Martin Prado had a big 2-out RBI single in the 3rd to make it 1-0. Vidal Nuno was rolling along until he ran into trouble in the 5th. Buster Posey a grand slam, then Madison Bumgarner a grand slam in the 6th. The first starting battery in Major League Baseball history to hit grand slams in the same game. Here's Posey off Nuno in the 5th, and then Bumgarner in the 6th against Matt Stites. Madison Bumgarner, his 2nd grand slam this season. He hit a grand slam against the Rockies back in June, another one today, so he goes to Target Field in Minneapolis at all-star style. It's our Gila River game summary. Cody Ross, the home run, one of the Diamondbacks highlights, but they lose this one 8-4 despite Gonzo out hitting the Giants 10-9.
Yeah, really a tough game for the D-backs. They looked so good the first 4 innings, and then the wheels seemed to fall off in the 5th and 6th, but you know, they continue to battle. They're going to get a couple days off here. Hopefully they can regroup, come back in the second half strong. They got a tough battle coming out against the Cubs and the Tigers. We look forward to the D-backs fans coming out to support them.
Giants, who had won just 5 of the last 21 here at home, take 2 of 3 from the D-backs. Goldie's hit streak and on-base streak ends here, and so does the season's first half. We'll see you at Chase Field Friday against the Cubs on Fox Sports Arizona. 10th inning is coming up next. For Jody Jackson, Luis Gonzalez, I'm Steve Berthune. Thanks, D-backs fans, for joining us here from San Francisco, and we will see you Friday back home at Chase. Stay tuned next for the 10th inning right here on Fox Sports Arizona.